Hi everyone. This is going to be a short video discussing the inspector, which is a bundled set of tools that browsers offer to help you see what a website is doing under the hood. Today I'll be using Firefox, since it's what we recommend for this project, but your everyday browser, like Chrome or Safari, should have similar tools. This talk will briefly walk through where to find the inspector, basic functions of the inspector, and how you might use the inspector in the assignment. Let's get started. First, I'll need to make sure that Docker is running and Nowshare is accessible. So you can see that Docker is running because I have the GUI pulled up on the left, but the apps are not running yet. So I'll need to start those. We can check that we're in the right directory by typing ls. We see the Docker Compose, YML, and the Nowshare folder. We can see this is a folder by typing tree if you have it installed and seeing all of the files that are in that folder. So we're in the right place. We need to use Docker Compose up to get it started. We can see that our apps are now running, and as stated in the spec, there is a series of errors that are thrown initially, but then the connection is made between the server and the database, and we should be ready to access localhost. So I'm refreshing the page, and now Nowshare is accessible. So the first step to access the inspector, you can do this in a couple different ways. The first way might be to click Tools, Browser Tools, and Web Developer Tools in your top bar, and this pulls up the inspector. Another way would be to click on an element on the web page, right-click, and then hit Inspect. And this will bring you to where in the DOM that element shows. You can see that this is showing the element, the login button, the CSS properties associated with that element, and other information about the CSS in general. So next I'll talk about each of the tabs that are shown in the inspector. And I'll conclude with briefly using the inspector as how you might use it in this assignment. So we're in this tab called Inspector by Firefox, and it's really just the document object model, the DOM of the HTML page. You can see as we move our cursor across elements, they're highlighted on the screen outside of the inspector pane. You can use this type of information to edit the DOM. And you should note that this information will not stick because this is just a local editing that you're doing to see what things look like. So that's the Inspector tab. Next, we have the Console tab. In this tab, we have access to a console here, which means that we can type JavaScript and it will be executed by the browser. So this is a console log statement that's like print for JavaScript, and it's saying print hi, so it prints hi. You can also see there's a series of requests that are being made. They're shown right here by the inspector. We have a GET request to localhost login, some other requests to some CSS, so cascading style sheets information. And you can click on one of these and it will tell you more information about that. So here's the headers associated with that request, response headers, request headers, and what that information is. Firefox also lets you show this information in the raw instead of a pre-printed version, which is natively displayed. Next, we have the debugger. We're not going to use this too terribly much in this assignment, but it would help you use things like setting breakpoints, similar to what you did with GDB. You could set a breakpoint somewhere. The website would execute up into that point and then would pause and wait for your further action. Most of this works on JavaScript, so you'd set a breakpoint somewhere in the JavaScript, and then you could step through your program that way. The Network tab allows you to see what requests are being sent, and it gives you timing information about those requests. So here we have that request I mentioned in the console tab. This is about login, and we can see the header information over here again. The style editor, performance, and memory tabs are not as important for this assignment, so I'm going to skip them. But the storage tab this is where we would find something like our cookie information. So that information is not being displayed right now because we haven't logged in, so there's no cookies. Accessibility and application are also something that I'm not going to discuss here. You can find more information about them on the web. Okay, so next step, how you might use this information in your assignment. So let's log in. We're going to log in as Alice. We gave you this information in the spec. Her login name is QWERTY. Okay, so now we're logged in. We can use the inspector to see different parts of the website. We can also go back to the storage pane and see that we have cookies that are now set. So here's the session cookie. If we wanted to use the console to print this same type of information, we can do console.log document.cookie, and we would print out the session cookie. So that's one of the uses with the console that we can see. But another one might be to look at the types of requests that are being sent. So if we head over to, I like to see these in the console tab, so we're going to stay there because Firefox displays them nicely there. But if we head over to settings, and we have this update description button here. So if we wanted to know what type of request that button was sending, we could just type some information in there, hit update, and then we can see the requests that are being sent. So the first request is a post request. There's the path information, update_profile. And then we have certain information about the headers listed below. We also, again, have some other requests to CSS type information. So if we wanted to put something different in here, like is talked about in the spec, we can do script console.log document.cookie. And then we can close the script. So we're typing in JavaScript to the description, which may be something that NowShare didn't think of. Okay, so we've updated it. We see the call to update profile. We have a status code of 200. That means okay, we're good to go. And we can look back at the console tab out of this to see if what we typed is successful. So let's go to NowShare, the home page. We can see all the requests that are being sent, and we see that we're logging the session cookie here. And this comes from the description that we have set right here, which we're finding this way. So right there, there's my script information. Okay, so that was a brief overview of what the inspector is, what the tabs are in the inspector, and how you might use the inspector in this assignment. Thank you for watching, and good luck with the assignment.